Honorable leaders of First Indigenous Khoi and San communities, Honorable Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Your Excellency, High Commissioner, esteemed representative of South African and Scottish governments, esteemed CEOs of Iziko, Museums of South Africa, and South African Heritage Resources Agency, esteemed colleagues, dear guests, dear friends, welcome. A very warm welcome to the University of Glasgow on behalf of the Hunterian as well. Thank you all for being here with us today, especially those who have traveled far and wide for this momentous occasion. My name is Stef Scholten. I'm the director of the Hunterian at the University of Glasgow. It is my honor to act as your Master of Ceremonies at this handover ceremony. I would like to say a few words by way of introduction. It is with very mixed feelings that I stand here before you today. On the one hand, I feel a sense of accomplishment, that the work we have been involved in the past 4 years, with so many present here, has led us to this moment where we can restitute these ancestors to their Khoi and San communities. I feel joy of having you all here as our guests over these last days, building relationships, friendships even, and that we will be hopefully, we will be able to sustain in the years to come. And I feel professional pride to have worked so well and constructively with our esteemed and extremely capable South African colleagues to reach this point. But I feel great sadness as well. In the first place, that we need to be here to hand you back the ancestral remains of your people who should never have been here in the first place, and that it has taken so long to address the wrongs of the past. This return is long overdue. And I feel sad that the university and the Hunterian have been part of constructing false pseudoscientific theories about racial hierarchies that have led to some of the most horrific and dehumanizing events in our history, the Holocaust, apartheid, and others. And I feel sad that seeing in our day and age, racism rears its ugly head again. We recognize that many of the inequalities and prejudices in today's Western world, of which the UK and Scotland are an inextricable part, stem from a history that includes colonialism, exploitation, and enslavement of people. We know that we cannot change that past, but we know that we can address the issues it causes in the present. And through this return of your ancestors and their subsequent reburial later in the year, we hope to contribute to restoring the dignity of both your ancestors and that of your communities. It is an expression of the commitment of our university to try not just to be the best university of the world, but the best university for the world. And we want to do that not by speaking words alone, but by meaningful acts that impact on the lives of people today. And it is my hope that this is one of those meaningful acts, one that will resonate with the peoples of South Africa and the global museum community. This repatriation takes place in a context where more and more museums and governments in the Western world are finally, I would say, taking actions to redress the past injustices that are evidenced in their museums and collections. Not all museums, not all governments, I must say, but we are seeing a significant increase in recent years in support for restitution and repatriation of looted or unethically acquired items in collections. In Scotland, the government accepted a recommendation in 2024 to demonstrate support for restitution and repatriations of looted and unethically acquired items. And I'm grateful that they are supporting us for this return. The Scottish Museum community, facilitated by Museums Galleries Scotland, is actively collaborating to create resources that aim to make it easier for those that are seeking returns to do so. There's much more work to be done, but I want to be optimistic here today and have the hope that this return will be one of many to follow. And we will actively support you to progress further returns to South Africa from museums in Scotland and the UK in the future, where we can. Over the last few days, we have discussed how remarkable it is that we have been able to reach this moment in a relatively short time span. So many parties had to align and reach agreement, and it could only have been achieved by the dedication of many. And I commend the community leaders for their wisdom and their ability to bring their people together and to work as one in the Northern Cape Community Task Team. I commend the South African government for the creation of the policies and organizational structures necessary and the provision of significant financial support. And I commend Sarah and Iziko National Museums for their great efforts to make the many moving parts work. I commend my university for their support and my colleagues at the Hunterian for their commitment. I thank you all.
Ik zal mijn deel voor die quick gedeelde doen en nama. Hida door die kleintjes, Ivy. Kleintjes, kabada nganduri. That's let's pray together. Kom sa inhwa ilotsi. Kom chi anukagati. Sida on oake kau ha kori karon ko oaki sida ka thoku ase khabeda ge kagasi se kaisera kwaka ne ikhasi karuma subo se gran o khabe kagas na daga ngwaku o daga hoku sida ge anna thoga da thot masko sida sai hoti de khasati elotsi na amakara ge kai kwasi kan saramachi ne thokatsko oaki ubara khas aroma huye kwas karesa ure wa minister ko wan ian ne bago Tobeha in my way in Omago Kai, Ne Kaisi Ika Kais Aroma, Sadagira Kaise Kabikuati Kangan. Hugesida di Kangan sa Oabadare Elochi, Nete Danedin Hauka, Tine Koga, Kongwa, Ti Eguri Hasi Kaipwani, Angminkas Arma, as Utmase Kwahe, Sakai Kaisipin Onsa. Nesisahu wan amosip kosi. Hallelujah. Amen and amen.
Thank you very much for those beautiful prayers. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to first of all welcome our ancestors back to Africa, all our esteemed government. Our esteemed government leaders, as well as all our traditional leaders. I don't want to say welcome to Iziko for them, but I'm welcoming you to Iziko. For them, this is just a passing through until they reach their final resting place. So I'm very honored to be your program director today at a moment that we've all been waiting very long for, and it is finally here. We finally have the beginning of our ancestors returning and going on their way home.
It was a great day. It was a great event in the history of the Khoi. In the Khoi language, when Khurikwe called himself a Khoi. A mens, a people's person, wat sal omgee, that will take care of others and sometimes put others before himself. From that one word Khoi, abstract words was created. Soos kwessie, kwessies, Khoigasip. I mention this deliberately because these ancestors of us spoke an indigenous language, not English. They spoke their original language. It moved my heart tremendously to hear the richness of our culture, linguistic treasures.
Kokoman miwasise ka umhangaya mkhanuke msamo 16 ata vesuku wa kau ta yikwa angekwi ikapleni ya ike tronta ami ke tsami ke ka ekwe tsamakwe titang michi ka etwa kina tatakwe tsamakwe. Amen.
Psalm 16 says, "Jadi kui ada ia kui sehat masih kaya kui akui kowe nyamwe ada itu ada kau tama kaya keluar kau kaya kau ane tama cah kowe takunu ni erfu ni kuning kau kan kau sakiri ngakwana tiya kui na yanu tie waktu. Amen.
And the acting CEO of Iziko, Dr. Ndlovu, acting CEO of SARA, Advocate Marcus, and Danetons Work, the Director General of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Cynthia Kumalo. Danetons Work here, the heads of departments and all senior government officials. Ik het al klaar voor meneer Mapanga, baie dankie gesê vir die werk wat hy doen. Dan het ons ook onze traditionele Khoisan leiers. Hulle is hier saam met ons vandag en ons waardeer dit. Ons sê baie dankie dat u hulle tyd gemaak het om hier te wees. Wat vandag hier sal plaasvind, dit is oor u hulle se geskiedenis en hoe om die nasie vorentoe te vat. Dit waardeer ons baie, ons is baie dankbaar dat u hulle hier is. President, I just want to teach you something before you leave. Pamba President. The President must respond and say, Pamba Zamani. Pamba President. Pamba Zamani. Pamba, it's hello, President. Hello, Zamani. And then I come back and say, Tonata. No. You must say Ticheka. Yes, when I say Tonata, I'm asking the President, how are you? The President must say Ticheka. Can we give the President a nice round of applause? You're a fast learner. Program Director, it is a bittersweet moment for me to stand here on behalf of the provincial government and the people of the Northern Cape. We are here in Steinkopf to close yet another painful chapter in our country's history of colonialism, racial subjugation and oppression. As a country, we are not sitting with scars of colonial oppression, but raw and wide open wounds of colonial oppression. The impact of the brutal legacy of colonialism still resonates today. After more than a century of displacement and the indignity of being treated as specimens in foreign lands, our Khoi and San ancestors have finally returned to their land. Their repatriation is a victory of human rights and restoring dignity to our people. President, on the 17th of October 2025, together with Minister Mackenzie and MEC Matika, we received the remains of 6 bodies from the Huntarian Museum, 5 of which were from the Northern Cape. The illegal removal of these remains inflicted profound pain on the descendants of the Khoi and the San. Their reburial today marks a significant milestone in confronting our traumatic past. Ladies and gentlemen, the presence of the President and Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture underscores the national importance of this occasion. It embeds a recognition that the story of the Khoi and San is a story of South Africa, a story of Africa, and a story of humanity as a whole. As a province, our journey of repatriating our ancestral remains began in 2012, when we repatriated from Austria the remains of Mr. Klaas Pienaar and his wife, Mrs. Troy Pienaar, who were of Khoisan descent. The couple were buried in a field on a farm in Kuruman at the instruction of the employer. Their bodies were later exhumed by an Austrian scientist who then took them illegally to Austria. We remain grateful that the Natural History Museum of Austria returned the remains of Mr. Klaas and Mrs. Troy Pienaar to South Africa. On the 26th of November 2023, the sacred remains of 9 descendants of the Khoi and San, collectively known as the Sutherland 9, were finally laid to rest in the historic cemetery of Sutherland. These individuals, Ihui, Cornelius Abram, Janeki, Klaas, Steerman, Sarki, Toje, Fuki, and 2 children named Khoi and San were buried with dignity 6 years after their skeletal remains were rediscovered through the 2017 audit. That audit revealed that their remains had been unethically removed and taken to the University of Cape Town in the 1920s by a medical student, reflecting a painful legacy of exploitation and disregard for indigenous communities. Their reburial marked a significant moment of restoration, remembrance, and respect for Khoi and San people. Their reburial enabled their spirits to return home after nearly a century of displacement. Right here in Steinkopf, Comrade President, 9 years ago, we also reburied the remains of Omar Khais, whose head was kept in a science laboratory as an object of centuries of research. President, we are also gathered in the same place that was the site of a Holocaust faced by the Nama indigenous people. The remains of 63 people were transported to Scotland and kept there, fulfilling the vile will of colonial powers who were not satisfied with the conquest of land, but who also embarked on a campaign to break our spiritual connection to our ancestors. Their bodies were taken abroad and used in academic institutions for display and research. This was done with little regard to their dignity. This shows how savage colonialism and its twin sister apartheid were. Colonialism was very savage. En Afrikaans is savage as ons sê, dis 'n woeste stelsel. That's what colonialism was. For our communities, this reburial will strengthen the spiritual ties to their ancestors. Program Director, the Northern Cape is home to some of the largest groupings of Khoi and San communities, including the Nama, Khomani San, Griqua, and Korana. Once the Commission on Khoisan matters concludes its work, the province will be in a position to formally recognize and appoint Khoisan leadership. This we await with great anticipation, as it will mark a critical step towards inclusive governance. We therefore call upon the people of Namakwa to see Kinderlê as a sacred site, a place to reconnect with their ancestral spirits. We extend a hand of reconciliation and friendship to the Scottish government, and we thank them for recognizing that these remains must return to their rightful place, though the names are unknown. During the colonial era, the Northern Cape was used as a site to harvest human remains for museums and academic research abroad. We therefore appeal to all institutions to accelerate the repatriation of all remains, including the 51 from Colesberg, presently held at Iziko Museum. As I conclude, Program Director, I wish to thank the national government for the support throughout this process. We hold the view that much more still needs to be done to restore the dignity of our people.
We've come to restore dignity, as well as the identity of those whose identity they were deprived of. This is therefore an important occasion. I can't think of a more important occasion like this one. Through this ceremony today, we are in many ways healing the wounds of the past so that we may have closure and build a memorial in the honor of the people we are reburying here today. But also to continue to establish a society in a country which is based on democratic values, social justice, and the respect for the fundamental human rights for all. When these remains were taken away, they were not just being taken away, they were being stolen. So a theft was committed here. They were being taken away without the consent of the families of all these people. Black, colored, Indian, and white, they sought to reduce our ancestors into objects. But we know, and we have to affirm today, that our ancestors were not objects. They sought to commoditize them by putting them as objects in museums so that people can come and study them and research them. And even that process was a process that was born of not only curiosity, it was born out of the dehumanization of our people. We are not a people who have gone to Europe to go and take the skulls and the bones of white people to bring them here to study. We respect everyone, and that is why we are arguing that those who were taken away were humans. They were our people, and they ought to have been given the respect that they deserved. The government of the Republic has taken a clear and principled position that the remains of our ancestors do not belong in foreign lands and foreign institutions. They belong here in the soil of their birth, among their people, and within the embrace of their cultures, their traditions, and their practices. Ritual practices, religious practices, and spiritual practices. Through the national policy on repatriation and restitution of human remains and heritage objects, we have committed ourselves to a path of justice. This is not only a legal process, it is a moral, spiritual, and an important responsibility. Repatriation is about restoring, as our Premier Zamani Sol said, the dignity to those who were denied it. It is about healing the wounds of the past, of colonialism, of apartheid, as Mr. Mampanka said. It is about acknowledging that the past, no matter how painful, must be addressed with honesty and courage. In this work, we are guided by the principles of Ubuntu. You are because I am. That is Ubuntu. This is a concept that the colonialists never understood, that we as the people of this continent are deeply imbued in Ubuntu. And that is why we never would go and dehumanize other people. We could have dehumanized them when they came here, but we didn't. We showed them Ubuntu, and what did they show us in return? They took our people, the bones of our ancestors, away. And it is this understanding that our humanity is bound together. When one of us is denied dignity, all of us are diminished. And when we restore that dignity, we restore something within ourselves as well. We call upon institutions across the world, particularly in Europe, to join us in this journey by returning what does not belong to them. What does not belong to them must be returned. Human dignity is for all of us. It is inherent in all of us, and we claim it for ourselves, particularly us South Africans, because we've suffered so much under colonial rule and apartheid rule. It cannot be deferred, and it cannot be erased. The illegal exhumation of our ancestors for sale in faraway lands exposed the depth of the depravity to which human beings could descend. They were dug up and turned into commodities and specimens. Now, we today are saying that history is behind us. Their restless spirits were left to wander in different lands. The land where they once lived is here. Today, we welcome their remains, that they may at last be reunited with their spirits and their people. They were not nobodies. They were all somebodies. They came from communities. They had families. They had, each one of them had a life that they lived. And they were our people. They came from this land and to which we now return them. And we have brought them home to be buried here alongside the children of Kinderlê. In the words of our great legend, Diana Ferrus, I have come, she says, to take you home, where the ancient mountains shout your name. I have made you bed, or your bed at the foot of the hill. Your blankets are covered in buchu and mint. The proteas, the beautiful flowers of our land, stand in yellow and white. I have come to take you home, where I will sing for you have brought me peace, for you have brought us peace. So we honor you, we remember your precious lives. We pray that you may finally rest in peace as we lay you down once again in your homeland. And thank you for coming back home. Thank you so much.